Today is about a lady. She is a divorce lawyer and she's talking about what she learned about representing men in divorce cases. And it's a very interesting video. She made some interesting points that I never thought about. I would like to watch it with you guys. Let's go to the video.
I'm a divorce attorney. I've been practicing for over 20 years. I began in Los Angeles, but I've owned my firm in Nevada since 2001. My firm has a particular subspecialty, men's rights. My 9 female employees and I specifically represent men in divorce and custody battles. I helped my ex-husband raise our 23-year-old son, whom I didn't birth, from age 5. I share custody of my 15-year-old daughter with the same father. My 12-year-old son sadly lost his father to suicide when he was just 7. And my 3-year-old is being raised at home with his father and me. I literally live my work every day. Allow me, if you will, to start with the second thing I learned about fatherhood. Men parent differently than women. Big surprise. But their influence is crucial in the development of their children. Do you know any mom in the world who would put dog shit in an Easter egg? When getting my father clients ready for court, I prepare them for this kind of interrogation. Who's your children's doctor or dentist? What's the name of your school principal or even their teacher? What grades did they get on their last report card? 9 times out of 10, they miss the majority of these questions. Seriously, does this mean they don't care or love their children as much? I bet it makes you wonder. But please hold your judgment. Here are the questions that my father clients can easily answer. If your son could be a superhero, what would his power be?
Yes.
What kind of monsters do your kids fear?
Yes.
How high does your daughter feel comfortable flying in a swing? What makes your son feel defeated?
Yes, my father would know all of them. He would tell me he believes I can do it, but if he talks to somebody, he would actually be like, yeah, I don't think he could do that, but I will push him to try to do it. But he would know my limit. He would know what I fear, for example. My father never really cared about what kind of report I got. He was like, did you pass? That's it. That's the only thing I care about. He cared more about if the teacher perceived me in the right way. He went every day, every month, and visited the teachers like, what's happening here? Why is he not listening to you? Is he being disrespectful? And I was like, well, dude, what's wrong with you? He's making my life hard. And he was always on the side of the teacher. He actually put me on my place. And one time the teacher told me, you do realize that your father is the only father that's almost every month here, right? And remember when he told me that, I was like, damn.
In my experience cross-examining hundreds of mothers in family court, these are the harder questions for them. Most of us know motherhood brings with it a sixth sense and an unspoken bond to our children. But what about fathers? Even fathers feel insecure about this reality. After representing 650 fathers, I can count on one hand those that felt secure in their instinctive role and significance to their children. What's interesting is my anecdotal legal experience suggests otherwise. In 20 years of practice, I've had over 100 men take a paternity test. Do you know how many were wrong in predicting their biological relation to the child? 2.
They like the same food. They have the same reaction, the same jokes. They like to play the same way. It's surprising. It's like my wife comes with something like, taste this. Yum, 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 yum. What? It's good. I want you to taste it because if you like it, he will like it. And it was like very weird. And I love it. Seeing my son, it's like a baby version of myself, white. We are so relatable with the same jokes, and everybody that sees us, everybody that sees my baby run, they're like, damn, he runs just like you. Like, really? And they're like, yeah, I've taken care of you. I can see he might not look like you in that way, but he has the same smile. He has the same holes right here. He has the same weird big eyes like you. He's super happy. He blushes 24/7. He likes to play rock style. He likes to punch. You all like music. You jump instead of dancing. You run on your toes like a ninja, and it surprises you. I can't look at my son and be like, we're not relatable. It's so weird. And it's so beautiful.
This shocked me and taught me my third lesson. Fathers, too, have a genetic bond and instinct about their children from infancy. And close your eyes. I'd like to ask you to feel. Think about your childhood. Picture your father. His smiling eyes, his strong hands. Hear his deep voice. What did you love about your dad?
He made me feel safe, that nobody could mess with me, and that one day I might be just like him.
His smiling eyes, strong hands. Hear his deep voice. What did you love about your dad? Did he throw you high into the air? Teach you to ride a bike? Carry you home when you got hurt? Push you when you tried to give up? What did it feel like to have a daddy? Secure, fun, challenging?
Yes.
Now, go back in your memories and erase your father from every scene. This is what the other 40% of people's childhoods look like. Just under half the people listening to me, including my own 12-year-old son, felt sad, angry, or blank during the peak of your joy while playing along.
But for example, now that my father passed away a few times ago, like a few months ago, now that he passed away, and I just want to WhatsApp him or something like that, I feel in a weird way so vulnerable that I'm like, I don't know, it's like a weird disconnect. I feel armorless. You know? My mother made me feel comfortable. But when she was gone, life wasn't comfortable anymore. But when my father is gone, I feel so vulnerable to everything. It's like a weird way that I want to impress my father. I don't know, man. But it is interesting how you can perceive how this would affect kids in these situations. A father is super important. A lot more important than people give them credit, at least.
Eye-opening, isn't it? Nearly 2 of every 5 children in America are growing up without their fathers, or 17 million, according to the 2016 census. Other sources estimate as many as 30 million.
And what I notice also is that whenever I meet like a single mother, like in a family setting or whatever, and we get along, and I get along with the kids because I'm very like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? What great? What do you like? I actually ask them, just have like a normal conversation. You can see these kids' face brighten up so happy, and they'll do everything. They start helping my sons with stuff. They hug my son because they want to feel included. That weird safety that I assume they're getting from their mom, it's comfortable there. But they want this in-your-face acknowledgement, you know? And this kid always chases me. And I remember one time he fell and he broke his tooth. Not the milk tooth, so like the original one. And he was so sad. And I told, what happened? He told me, yeah, this broke, nah. And I fell. And then, yeah, I told him, yeah, you have to be careful, but it will be okay, man. And he looked at me, yes, it will be okay. I says, yes. You can just go to the dentist, they can fix it. They fixed my tooth, I broke my tooth. It was like, really? It says, yes, man, you can just, they're gonna fix it, it's gonna look good, nobody's gonna notice it. Don't worry, man, you don't have to worry about it. And I'm not sure if the mom did it. I'm sure the mom might have said, well, you look beautiful anyway. But I just told him, no, man, it's a socialist country, Spain. They'll fix your tooth, you're gonna look good. And he looked at me like, he was like in shock. And the way he hugged me after that, I remember I felt so bad for him. Because I was like, you're not supposed to hug me like that. You're supposed to hug your father. And sometimes I fish these kids out. You can see how they act because they really need to feel that. Because I don't think kids should feel they have to protect their mother. They don't need to be the man of the house. It's not their job. They need to be kids, right? And it just sucks that so many kids have to experience this. I'm just glad I can help once in a while. And yeah, just hope for the best, you know.
NYEP is a housing program for homeless girls ages 18 to 24. As board president of this small charity, I've been closely involved and gotten to know the girls and their tragic stories over the years. Hundreds of otherwise homeless girls have come through our program. Their backgrounds and what they have endured would haunt you. Do you know the one thing all of these girls have in common?
No, Father.
They all come from fatherless homes. Sadly, these girls aren't the exception. They're the rule. My 4th lesson about fatherhood came from the data. According to the Center for Disease Control, children from fatherless homes account for 90% of all homeless and runaway kids, 71% of high school dropouts, and 63% of youth suicides.
That's huge. I'm not saying it should happen. I mean, there are cases everything is okay, but I'm gonna be honest. If I can give my kid not this possibility in a lower percentile, yes, I'll take it, man. I'll take anything like that.
While you listen to me speak, you have to be wondering, what makes fathers so crucial? Honestly, the answer is complex and better explored by psychologists. What I can tell you is that the data unequivocally tells us fathers are vital, and yet laws and society undervalue their importance, making it harder for them to be in their children's lives. Even fathers underrate their own value.
I've been saying that so many times. When you have a baby, include yourself. Do everything. Change the diaper. Do all the crappy stuff. You know why? Because at first it's like I'm giving so much and I'm not getting anything back. Dude, trust me, keep doing it. Because the moment this little piece of meat, whatever you want to say or look at it, starts looking at you back and smiling at you, gee, you're gonna get something so beautiful back that you have no idea. And if you have a lady or a partner that doesn't give you the possibility to do this, just tell them, I want to be a father too. I want to be able to make a mistake. And by mistake, yes, don't drop the baby. I'm not saying that, but try to put the diaper, put it wrong. The shit falls out. But let me make a mistake. Let me learn. It's a process. You're not supposed to be perfect. She has the baby in the belly, kicking. Oh, I feel everything. You have no idea. You're all about face value and action. So if you never have action with the baby, of course, you will feel disconnected. I felt disconnected when I held my baby. I was like, damn, what is this purple thing? But I think when somebody started to shower the baby in the beginning, because that's what they do in the beginning, the nurse, and they did it like a little rough by my standard, I went super defensive. I almost punched the nurse, and I was like, whoa, what is this defensive feeling? If you're gonna play PlayStation 24/7, yes, you can't include yourself. Be there, trust me, invest.
This data upsets a lot of mothers, me included.
I don't even care. Kiss my ass. Let men be men. Even if you don't like them or whatever, let men be men. Because if you consider that you can do a better job, well, then you shouldn't complain if it becomes too hard for you or they start rebelling against you. My wife has more patience, right? But my wife doesn't solve the issue with the baby because she assumes she has patience. So when the baby is crying, she has the patience. But sometimes I notice stuff that she doesn't notice, and I do this, bada bing, bada boom, and the baby stops. And she's like, yeah, that's a one-time thing. I'm like, I don't care. Let me do my part. Once he becomes uncontrollable and I can't find the switch, I'll give it back to you. Teamwork, right? I'm not perfect, but don't limit me on stopping the baby from crying. A quick story time. When my baby was born, my wife was giving breast milk, right? I realized that the baby had issues to nibble and hold on to the breast, so he was not eating correctly, right? I felt very bad because whenever she put the baby to sleep, the baby woke up in the next 15 minutes. And it doesn't make any sense. Once they eat, they sleep well, at least for a while. And then for some reason, after not being able to sleep so long, he finally fell to sleep in a very long, so quite long normal, and we thought, yeah, he eat. He didn't eat. I always told the doctor, I think he's not eating. They're like, no, he's nibbling. Sometimes he just tries to hold on because it feels comfortable. And I was like, there's something wrong. Nobody listened to me. Then a friend of my wife that did have a baby came by and said, this is wrong. Why don't you listen to your husband? Go to the doctor. Your breast is super hard. If a baby drinks, your breast becomes soft. It wasn't becoming soft. We went to the doctor. They said like, oh damn, yeah, it seems your baby is dehydrated. When I went home, I cried like a baby because I felt like I failed my baby because I felt my instinct telling me something is wrong. I didn't blame my wife. I just told her, stop believing what the doctor is saying. Stop feeling guilty when something is not working, and please listen to me. I have a voice too. And everything we tackled in the future, we both made the decision. It happened so many times that we just do what the lady wants because she might be an emotional wreck at that moment. We have to respect that moment. But you still have to take in consideration you both made them. And some fathers, I think a lot of fathers, can give their opinion to help humongously, but it's seen as an attack. He's a father. How can he attack by having his opinion because he feels something about his own baby? Does that make sense?
But advocating for fathers isn't about diminishing mothers. While children deserve both parents whenever possible, this crisis is specific to fathers. The occurrence of fatherlessness is epidemic. The effects are catastrophic, and the causes are male gender specific. Nearly 30 years ago, leading child psychologist Michael Lamb reminded us, fathers are the forgotten contributors to child development. Yet, researchers have found that children with involved fathers have stronger cognitive and motor skills, elevated physical and mental health, become better problem solvers, and are more confident, curious, and empathetic.
Because fathers push kids in a way that most mothers won't. I'm not saying no, don't even start me with that. But I can guarantee you the things that I do with my kids, it surprises my wife so many times. Like, why would you even do that? I'm like, why not? This is what I do as a kid. She was like, really? I says, yes, this is what kids do. My sons fight so many times. Rah, wrestling mania, bram, and everything. And she's like, huh? No, you're gonna break the neck. And I'm like, no, they know what they're doing. They're kids. That's what they do. The psychologist that one of my son was having issues because he has difficulty because he has a certain percentage of autism, the biggest one. The psychologist could not handle his situation because he was always lovey-dovey, bada beam, bada boom. And I just went to my son and said, hey, she's just asking you to do this. The puzzle, do it. Stop acting up. You don't do this normally. Just do it correctly. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Do it. And don't let me come back in this situation or we're going to have a problem. And I just walked away. And then he was still sad and he fixed the puzzle. And then even the psychologist came to talk to me and she told me what happened. It says because my son, she can handle being nice. Right? But if you're too empathetic, he gets into this box and he never comes out. He reads your eye. You're too empathetic. And that's why I keep telling him then sometimes, look at my eye. And I show him like the little angry, worried eye. Like, stop doing that. And sometimes you need to do that because you need to click him out of that mindset. I don't use it a lot, but sometimes you have to switch. And my wife, whenever she does that, it doesn't work. I've heard many people had the same situation and they agree. Yes, my son usually doesn't respect my wife the same way because she is too good of an empathetic person. It's not that you can't do it, but if you're a good, empathetic, nice mom like most mom, when you switch up like a gangster, you have to be consistent. You cannot be angry, happy, angry, happy. And most fathers can do it, especially if the wife or mother don't jump into the battle, you know, like, no, we're gonna do it like this. Give him the power for something like you have the power for something. Don't rip his power away and then complain the kid is doing whatever he wants and becomes a mama's boy.
Sadly, we've had this data for 30 years, and fatherlessness has only continued to rise during this time. The main contributors to fatherlessness are divorce and out-of-wedlock births. Every 13 seconds, someone in America gets divorced. That equates to almost 2.5 million divorces a year. Lucky me. Currently, more than 40% or 1.5 million babies are born out of wedlock each year in the U.S.
Story time. All the mothers that I know that are single mothers, and you ask them what could your mother have done to not be a single mother when she is also a single mother, they keep saying, well, my mother should have told me that, hey, it might not have been the best decision. Tell me about the stress and the things that you had to endure and the time that you cried alone, you know? You make it seem like it's okay. And many of them experience your pain and they're like, you didn't tell me this.
Sadly, we've had this data for 30 years, and fatherlessness has only continued to rise during this time. Family court is one of the critical places where fathers are disadvantaged, and this hurts kids. The best my father clients could expect was every other weekend visitation and maybe a dinner on the off week. This is what we know. Every bit of data we have tells us children need their fathers. The law, its application, and society at large disfavor fathers. The law is improving, but the statistics are not.
Because if this is the way that it's so negative, the way they were explaining, right? And we're still telling mother they're doing a great job because we're afraid they're going to go on a mental breakdown. What about all these kids that are going to do these crimes and are going to end in a bad situation? Why don't we stop that? Why would the mother say like, yeah, but I can control him. I can't well, then why did you make him then? It was an accident. Well, with all these condoms and everything in this age, you still need that solution? I don't know, man. If you're doing something that you think is going to be a disadvantage, but you want to be empowered for that too, you have to choose one thing. Take the responsibility and do your best to make it right, settle or whatever, but don't complain it's hard, but you're still empowered on social media, but when things go bad, it's the man's fault? I'm like, wait, what do you want men to do?
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Buta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, turloqueta, verdeta, welcome.